Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond Local, episode 51, as we continue down the path of Get to Know LSEO, where we learn a little bit about the employees here at LSEO and what they do, and bring the services to you. With me, as always, Steve Blackburn, who decided to dress like me today. Steve, welcome.
Well, first off, two things. Not like always, because last week you got lazy and you weren't here.
True. Sorry.
And we're definitely going with you decided to dress like me. First, I live a little bit further, and I was here first. So you dressed like me. This is a show with integrity, and the people must know Jeff aspires to be me, not the other way around.
It's exactly what happened when Riley called me and said, okay, here's what Steve's wearing. So I put the shirt on.
Well, she was supposed to. I let her know last night.
Oh, okay. Great.
So I'm glad the team did their job. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me and dressing like me, and we're gonna have a good time now.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of having a good time, we have a very special guest. This is awesome because I won't say his name because that's your part, but our guest is new not only to the podcast but to the company. Steve, who'd you bring today?
Well, I brought the second Pride of Coughlin, also an Eric.
Wow.
So we've got Eric Meese today.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks for coming by, brother.
Absolutely. It's an honor.
Yeah. So normally, to loop you in, Eric, we ask you some questions. We want to get to know you a little bit more. And as Steve says, the people want to know a little bit more about you. So
Awesome.
We're going to fire off some questions here just to learn a little bit more about you. Do you want to start? Or?
Of course.
All right.
Man.
Steve's
I get chomping at the bit. So, Eric,
Yes.
I know some of the clients, and they're certainly some of our audience, but some people here have met you. But for those who haven't or haven't read our bio lately, can you tell us what your position here at LSEO is and how that helps our clients become successful?
Absolutely. So my position here is the director of paid media. That essentially involves handling all the paid dollars that the clients are spending with us from A to Z on a variety of different platforms: Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Google, etc. That involves me working very closely with the creative team to make sure that the visuals that we're putting out behind those ads look good, and just overall strategy, essentially, depending on the business's goal.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
So when Steve's browsing TikTok during work and he gets that ad, that's because of you, right?
Usually, right, yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to fight that one.
We're targeting people who are likely to look at their phones during work hours.
Yeah, all I'm doing, I'm giving Eric information, and I let him know, I saw your ad. Wasn't that good?
Yeah.
Right. I didn't click on it.
Research and development at its finest.
Yes. There you go.
Yes.
Good. So tell us a little bit about your professional history. A summary. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you work before?
Sure. Well, I think I'll start all the way back at like how I got involved with social media and media buying in general. So it was in 2014, maybe latter half of 2013, just kind of scrolling through Instagram and stuff. I came across a page that it was called Major League Fishing, right? And at the time, I wasn't sure. I've never heard of it. I'm a big outdoorsman. I never heard of the page or the brand itself. I looked more into it. And as I was going through the page and sort of deciding, like, what is this? What do they sell, etc., I quickly realized that this actually wasn't a brand. It was just a page ran by an individual, and that page was focused on sharing everybody's experiences when it came to fishing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What they would do is they would send him photos and pictures, and he would repost them. And it was like a central hub for people who love to fish. Once I seen that, I got the idea of doing that for myself. So I started a couple of Instagram pages focused around that same idea. And eventually it reached a point where we had, tens of thousands of followers. And I was essentially doing what I seen originally. And that got me into the whole idea of like, wow, okay, there's something here where one person could actually have the power with a click of a button to reach tens of thousands of people. So that's kind of how it started in terms of the media buying. And then eventually it led to my previous position where I was I was a marketing manager for an e-commerce company called Salt Armor. And it was e-commerce companies solely focused on selling fishing apparel and whatnot. So it's kind of how it all fit. It fit in perfectly. And then as far as school goes, I went to LCC.
Okay.
And I was a criminal justice major. I was going to the first goal was to become a state trooper. And,
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but chose this direction instead, which I think it was the right decision for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure now, I know this is getting into it, but Annie told you her brother-in-law is a state trooper.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Small world. Annie works for Eric. For those who don't know, she'll get on here one of these days, maybe.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe.
So,
but I'm sorry, real quick. You might be going down this, but
no, definitely not.
Coughlin. He also went to Coughlin. He
Told you.
didn't-
Wasn't
You
where I
weren't
was
going to do
going.
that.
Nope.
So,
Which is now unfortunately no longer.
okay.
Right? I think
That's
this year
right.
was the last
Oh, was it?
graduating class. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Wow.
Well, you'll always be the number 2.
Right. Right.
No, what I was going to get into was, so the first thing you went to was a fishing account where just people got on there and talked about fishing. And I'm just thinking, like, what a collection of liars, right? Because everybody's fish is this big, and by the time they finish the story, it's this big, and then it's this big. So I was just thinking that had to be, like, no pun intended,
Yeah.
shooting fish in a barrel, because you got a bunch of liars on that page.
Right. Right. They call it long arming. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Where they grab the fish and they put it super close to the camera. They call it, you extend your arms all the way out so it looks much bigger than it is, and they're all the way back, and long arming. That's
I
what
can't
it
wait
is.
to look for that when certain people put that up. Are their arms
You'll see it
extended
all the
or not?
time, yeah.
Now I'm going to be looking for it.
Yeah, look at you long armor.
That's what the comments were saying. The comments would say that all the time. Yeah.
Now, what was the topic that you did? So I know they did fishing. Did you also do fishing? Or?
Everything outdoors.
Oh, okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. Focused on fishing, a little bit of hunting, everything.
Okay.
I just use it as like a really cool way to bring all those people together. And then eventually I started selling merch, and that's like I realized the potential of it.
Okay.
You know?
Nice. Okay. Cool.
So, what led you here? I mean, I know that you'd been with that other company for quite some time, but the people are more important than me, and they don't know. So, I mean, you had your pick of the litter. You're a bright dude, and your skills are definitely always in demand. You could have been anywhere. Why LSEO?
It takes it back to my experience with first starting to get into this industry, where it was so fun and exciting to really like be testing these new things all the time, learning what works, learning what doesn't, and just like being able to start something from very small and build it into something. I think what happened for me was it reached a point with my previous position where it was sort of very predictable every day, right? We grew exponentially, both in number of employees and just also our daily tasks. Kind of got a little stale, if I'm being totally honest. And I think that attracted me to the agency side of things because we work with a variety of clients, right? And it's almost like every day is something different, and you're working for multiple companies at a time. A new client could come on board that I have no maybe prior experience with, and it's like a new adventure, you know. So it's kind of how it went.
Right on.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like that part. I couldn't imagine going back to like corporate world, working for one company and only working on their stuff. You know?
And I think to add to that, it's pretty rare that we get to do what we do locally as well. I think. Like I know I think a lot of the times with the digital media buying and stuff where we can, there's a lot of remote positions and stuff. But to be able to have a position like this available, like close to home where you grew up, I felt it was pretty important to try to jump on it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, we're lucky to have you.
I was going to say that.
Well, I beat
me to it. All right. So what are some of your favorite things about working here at LSEO?
It ties into that. I mean, it really ties into like the adventure of learning about a client, learning what their needs are, and just tackling all these different industries. Mm-hmm. It always changes. That's the beautiful thing about it. Nothing's ever stale, and it's always like a new adventure.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
All right. So you've been here for 2 months now or something? Month and a half?
Not even.
Feels like it's been a while.
It does, right?
Right.
I can't tell. Some days fly by and others.
Oh no, you started. On. No, we're about a month, right?
June 1.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I was going to say that.
I beat you to it.
So now that you've been here for exactly a month,
Mm-hmm.
tell us something that you would add to LSEO. One thing that if you could add anything to the pot of what we've got going on here, what would it be?
At the risk of sounding selfish, a stand-up desk. I'm very jealous of the stand-up desks we have around the office.
Well,
And I don't have one. I've got an amazing office, but I got to say, every now and then I look out and I see people standing, and I'm very, very jealous of that. So maybe more stand-up desks. Maybe a community one.
I just gave you a credit card, so
Okay, true. Okay.
if you want it, I
Sounds
told
like
you.
that's approved.
Yeah, well, hold on, wait a minute, Jonesy, I'm not doing that. So I'd like you to show me what you were looking at, and I think we have a company that we get them from. So
Oh, nice.
when we go upstairs, you could have asked for this before putting me on the spot in front of the people, but
Yeah.
yes, we'll get you what you need.
Okay, great. I was gonna suggest a lot of different things. I was like, snacks, what? But we've got all that.
Yeah.
We've got all that. Endless Red Bulls, bunch of snacks.
Not peanut butter pretzels, not endless, not with Jeff Kimmel.
Oh yeah, but those are good.
They are, right?
They're always the first thing to go. I see.
It's
I don't know why.
between Jeff and Michael, and Michael's 145 pounds and 6'6".
He's all peanut butter pretzel.
Yes, and red hair.
Right.
And red hair must weigh more.
But it's funny because prior to Eric starting, we had a stand-up desk in there
Yes.
and moved it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe there's one floating around.
Honestly, I'd settle for a community one. Nobody's using it.
Go stand up at it. Not a bad idea.
No. Then
not
we're
a
going to get into
It's my turn.
what the desk costs. Hold on. But we'll get into what the desk costs, and then what people cost, and then the amount of time that people spend moving the desk around instead of working. And that's where, the operational piece comes in. I would say, no, you can have your own desk.
No, what I meant was, no, it's my turn to stand at the desk. No, it's your turn. That's not my turn. to ask
I
a
don't want
question.
to stand at the desk, so it'll never be my turn. I have metal legs. I want to stand at a desk. I like sitting.
All right. So we know a little bit about fishing, your outdoor stuff. So what else do you like to do? What are your other hobbies?
Well, I love to train dogs.
Train.
Yep. And that involves eventually going back to the outdoors, right? So I'm a huge fan of upland bird hunting.
Okay.
I've brought my dog into the office. You've met him.
Yep.
Love going out in the woods with him, hunting pheasants and stuff. So whatever free time I have, I try to do that when it's in season. Other than that, it's like hiking. I love going to different state parks.
Okay.
Ricketts Glen is pretty close to me. It's always nice to go there. Bushkill Falls. Have you guys ever been there? That's another one that's really, really nice too. That's not too far from here.
No, it's basically Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anything outdoors, man. Like I just love to kind of get out there and relax. It's nice to. I think it's nice to also like disconnect sometimes too. I think it's important, right? So like that's a great way to do it. But then there's the flip side of it, where sometimes I just feel like sitting down and playing some video games. Yeah.
What kind of video game system do you have?
Right now I'm on a computer.
Okay.
But previously, PS4,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
console games and stuff. Yeah.
So, what did you say? It was upland what?
They call it upland hunting.
What
It's fields, farmlands, things of that nature.
I didn't
Like
know.
so there's waterfowl, which is like ducks,
Okay.
geese, etc. And then there's upland hunting, rabbit, pheasant, etc.
So, like, what kind of gun do you use for
Turkey.
Shotgun.
this? No such thing as a turkey gun.
You're using a shotgun for bird hunting, 20 gauge, 12 gauge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a different. The reason I like it because there's the hunting, especially where we're from, the deer season, right? It's really cold. December, you're sitting out there not moving for 6 to 8 hours, just miserable, really, right? And there's a chance you're not going to see anything. Where bird hunting, couple of guys, couple of cigars, some shotguns, and some dogs walking the fields.
Watch it, man. It's a kid's show. So, all right. So, you've got the dog.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell us the dog's name and, what type of dog we've got here.
His name is Remy, short for Remington, which is the shotgun that I use. and he's a Brittany Spaniel. He's just under 2 years old. So
Little known fact, I did know everything he was talking about. So I got drugged to like hunting and stuff as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then like once I hit like 16, I had a part-time job. I was like, I can go to the store and buy food. I don't have to sit in the woods and wait for it to walk past me and shoot it.
Right.
I was like, this is a waste of time. The only thing I enjoyed about it was like my father did it, my uncles did it, my grandfather did it. So it was days out of school. So like,
that's true.
I did it
That's
for
true.
that portion, but then like, I was like, oh, ain't even worth it now. So
So that's it.
I don't think I've shot a gun in 10 years.
The first day of deer season, all the schools have off anyway. They do that. Yeah.
Right.
First day of rifle season, which is nice.
Until PETA gets involved.
Right. All right. Good. Well, that interesting stuff. I was going to say, I normally I'd say I don't know what that dog looks like, but we all seen Remy already. So if you want, send us a picture. We'll put it up there for the people to see.
I will. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So we found out some of your hobbies then, but I'd like to know then, what's your like your dream Saturday? Like, tell me about, if you could just have a waste of the day and do whatever you want. What does Eric want to do?
Eric wants to sit and be lazy on a Saturday, if I'm being totally honest.
Okay.
My favorite Saturdays are where I have nothing going on, and that seems to, as the years go on, disappear. My Saturdays are like get-ahead Saturdays now, and I kind of miss that.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's just part of the process, but I'm looking to get those back a little bit. So that's an ideal Saturday for me.
Now, I know you have a significant other, and I don't know what your plans are, but if you do ever plan to have kids, that you're never getting that Saturday back. It's gone
So
forever.
we do plan on it. So I guess I have to figure that out before that happens, right?
Yes.
The window is closing, I suppose.
Then
Thanks for the warning.
You got it. And then you have another 30 years in some cases.
Yeah. But you can't hunt on Sundays either.
You
So
can't?
You cannot.
I did not know
So
that.
I think actually they're doing like maybe one Sunday a year or 2 Sundays a year now for each season, just to try to, I guess, sell more licenses and stuff.
Was it always like that?
It was always like that, yeah.
No idea.
So Saturday was always used to like get out there and
Right.
I think the only thing you can hunt on Sundays are like coyote
Yeah,
and
crow.
Like crow,
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You could still fish on Sundays, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But ideal, just throw on a movie.
Now, do you
Relax.
fish too?
Yeah, I love it. Bass fishing mostly.
Where do you go?
Harvey's Lake. I have a
Okay.
boat docked up there, and when I get the time, I like to go out there and troll the docks. And
Does the
fish for
dog go with you?
yes, yeah.
Does he jump in?
No, that's the thing. Actually, he's afraid of it. I think I don't want to say scarred him, but I don't have a pool, so I think it would be ideal, like if I let a dog kind of walk down the steps, go in the shallow end, then go in the deep end. But when he was on the boat, I tried to like dip his feet in the water, and I think him not being able to touch right away freaked him out. So he doesn't try to run in the water. But then I see videos of that same breed hurtling into water. So it's like, what am I? Maybe I'll get him used to it eventually. But no, he doesn't jump in it, which is actually kind of nice because I don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, wet dog.
Yeah,
then
turning around and seeing him off the boat,
Yeah.
or jumping in for the hook or something.
Right. All right. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, you want me to ask the next question?
Yeah.
All right. So, if you had one superpower, what would it be?
To read minds.
Okay. And what would you use that power for?
To read minds.
He knew I was going to ask that.
Well, I just think it would be cool. It might get a little cluttered up there, right? Because you're thinking of something right now that I know you're thinking of something. I can see you're thinking of something.
Right.
I'd be able to know the exact question he's about to ask right now.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Because I don't think about what comes out first. I'm
I
on
just spit,
autopilot, man. It's just it's like words just come up and boom, boom, boom.
Shoot, aim, think.
Yes.
Yeah. I just can't help but wonder, though, what conversation would turn into. If you can read it before it came out, would conversation even be important anymore?
I wonder, though, if you had that ability, would you have to just focus on what Jeff's saying? Like, could you could you read Jeff's mind
Right.
while also at the same
Right.
time Dan? Because like Jeff would be
Right.
like, oh God, here we go. Steven is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like here we go again, Steve.
Or like, I know what your voice sounds like, but does the voice in your head sound the same? I don't know. So you might have a totally different voice. I could hear myself right now thinking, but I don't know what it sounds like really.
So then the other thing is, like, what if you're like a concert or a sporting event and you can see 10,000 people at once?
Yeah, there's got to be a way to tune it. All right, there might be some holes in that. I might have to rethink my
I'm
superpower.
just saying, like, because everybody gets on here, and I don't
Yeah.
want to be the guy who's like, you don't want to be special,
Right.
or have a superpower. I just think that a lot of times, we don't really think them through.
Right.
Like, I see people are like, oh, I'd like to be immortal, and I'm like, man, you'd want to watch everyone you care about die forever,
Over and over again.
Yeah, like,
True.
that'd be odd. Or, like, when would you want to be? Like, would you stay 25 or would you stay 85? Like, and look like the Crypt Keeper? Like, that wouldn't be fun
Right.
to do
Right.
forever.
When do you become immortal?
Right.
I guess maybe a superpower of time travel, so I can go back in time
Oh,
and pick a different
no,
superpower.
Oh, don't
right,
go down that road.
Yep,
Okay,
not,
all
not
right.
with Jeff. Not
Uh-oh.
with Jeff.
All right.
Not with Jeff, because you know what? We've already poked holes in this theory as well. All right. So you've got your superpower of where you can read multiple minds, and maybe you just have to refine your superpower
Yeah.
and say, I'd like to be able
Yeah.
to pick and choose when it turns on.
To channel it in.
Otherwise,
Right.
it's like Mel Gibson, and what's that movie?
What women want?
That's it. And
That was quick. Wow.
I watched a movie or two.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe yesterday. But anyway, so if you had a skill, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. What's a skill that you currently either don't possess or you wish you could be better at that you'd like to acquire with your age, and especially since you'll be losing Saturdays?
I think I'm going to keep it. I want to say creative and video editing, Photoshop, and things of that, right? Because my job involves so much of that, and I know very, very little about it, which I think could be, speaking of poking holes in things, I think it could be a good thing, because then it's like you look at a certain section of it and you leave it up to the creative people and the people who know, right? My job is to really just like translate that data to them, tell them what's working, what isn't. But I think it would be cool. Like you see some of these final products that our creative team makes, and it's like, wow, like I wish I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's such an important piece, like of the whole strategy.
Right.
Like it's, I don't know. I just wouldn't know where to start with it. It's very intimidating. I've opened up Photoshop before, and I'm like, but then you see somebody who really knows what they're doing, and it's like they're clicking away, listening to music.
Yeah, it's even like our web dev team. It's like, I open WordPress and then it's just blank there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, now what? Like,
Yeah.
I know I can do it, but
Right.
I mean, not creative. I can't draw.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have the brain for it. Because so many of the things that I like, and I learned this a long time ago, like you really can't just create content and promote content that you like, because you're going to get stuck very, very quickly. There's so many things out there that I wouldn't necessarily like, but the results are amazing. Or there's things that I'm really in love with. Somebody will send me over a creative. I'm like, this is going to work. I love this. It doesn't do well.
Right.
That's where the data comes into play. I just don't think I have the brain for it, though.
Right brain, left brain, that whole thing. We can go down that road.
No brain.
No back brain. Right. All right. So how about some of your favorite things? Let's break it down. What
Okay.
is your favorite band or singer?
Well, favorite singer, I'm a country music fan. So I like, right now, I'm listening to a lot of Cody Jinks. It's kind of like an outlaw country singer. He's got
Is
an
it
old classic
Newer?
twang.
Oh, is he
sound.
old or is he
He's
newer?
middle-aged, but
Okay.
it's like more of the traditional country music. I'm not a fan of the stuff that's really played on the radio or anything anymore. It's like pop country. And
Okay.
so he's, I just discovered him last year, so it's kind of new for me, but I think he's been doing it for years. Bands go, man, I'll pretty much go to see any band if it involves a concert. I love concerts.
All right.
If they jam, I'm with it.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's pretty much where I'm at.
What's the most unusual concert you went to? With a like a thought process like that, I'll go to anything. And what would be one that it would be like?
I don't know. Unusual. I think one of the ones that I thought I would never actually end up going to was I went to go see Journey, which was pretty cool. They played at
with Steve Perry or with
the new guy.
Okay.
Yeah, which could barely tell the difference,
Right.
really.
Voice-wise,
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like really young. I think I was like 16, 17, like, and I just like, I don't know. I feel like I didn't think I would actually end up going and seeing them, and I didn't.
There you go.
I think the only song I knew is like "Don't Stop Believing." So when that came on, I was all pumped. But
And that was the end of it.
yeah, they played with Def Leppard, I think. So
Up at Montage.
yes,
I was there.
were you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
I was there. Yeah.
So that was what? That was a while ago.
Jeff
Yeah.
loves Journey.
Oh, cool.
Steve Perry Journey, though.
Mm.
But I was still there. I
not
went.
Diet Journey.
Yeah.
He still goes, but
They, I think they found him on a social platform.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Look at that
That's pretty
discovery.
neat. So, how about your favorite movie?
I have a couple. I think ultimately top is Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
I love the story behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Big Tom Hanks fan too. So I think that's the top one. Another good Shawshank Redemption too. That's another good one. Just another great story. And then I think of it. You guys ever see Stand By Me
Yep. Mm-hmm.
with the three
Yep.
kids?
Corey Feldman.
he doesn't know how old we are, does he?
Well, that was I've watched that a very long time ago.
Everyone else calls us dinosaurs on here, and you're asking us if we know movies from the 80s.
Yeah. Well,
That was a good one.
it
I
was.
think
It was really a good one.
based
Good
on the
story.
book The Body.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Jeff lost casting opportunity in that they picked Jerry O'Connell.
Right.
Dang. I'll have to read the book though.
Speaking of books, what is your favorite book?
Let's say 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
What do you like about it? Give us a synopsis.
It's essentially broken down into very simple like life lessons and gives you perspective on where you're at essentially.
Well, like what kind of lessons? Like don't steal from your don't
I
steal.
I wrote down I wrote down
It's
one
like
of the
that's
rules
to
'cause
knock off.
I didn't want to butcher it. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today. And I think that's a great just overall. And then, of course, it goes into depth, but it's a great overall rule because looking at where somebody else is today, it could be super intimidating to actually start that journey. But if you focus on where you're at today and just focus on improvement from there, it actually helps you start those steps.
I wonder how many 23-year-old girls have that tattooed on their rib cage or something.
But I already broke my own rule, or the rule, I should say, when we were talking about creative, right? Because I see these people who are extremely talented at this, and I'm like, I can never get into that. But if I just were to focus on where I'm at with Photoshop today and take those little steps, one day I could maybe be a good creative guy.
All right, so the last piece to this then, as Jeff normally says, is this podcast is normally about tips, tricks, and blah, blah, blah. He does it better than me.
Okay.
So with that being said, when we're talking about Photoshop and how to get better at things like that, what's a piece of advice that you could give our listeners today about, our industry or digital marketing in a whole that you've learned since you've joined with us?
Trust and don't be afraid to try new things. I think there's a ton of companies out there, local or large brands, that have been not stuck in their ways, but they are afraid to try new things. And I think that by exploring those new opportunities with all the variety of different platforms and strategies that are up and coming, it could change their business in a positive way overnight. So I think just say overall, just don't be afraid to take chances.
Right on. Well, I think that's a great idea. If you're going to jump in, go ahead first.
Right.
Awesome. Great. So is there anything that we didn't cover that maybe you want to throw into the podcast?
I don't think so. I think it was great being here.
Yeah, well, it was great having you. Hopefully all of you enjoyed our little interview here with Eric. If you haven't spoken to him yet and you're a client of ours or a prospect, give us a call. Eric would love to speak to you about the paid side of the house, and more importantly, continue to tune in each and every week to Beyond Local. Thank you.